Hi everyone, good morning. This morning, I'm going to talk a little bit about how standalone DERMS enhances your ADMS. So this is a hot topic, and at MEPI, Smarter Grid Solutions, we want to share what we've learned working with our customers over the last 15 years, help clarify some of those assumptions, help you learn why implementing a DERMS system as part of your utility ecosystem is your best path forward for grid reliability and developing new value streams. I'm going to run through 4 big assumptions that we hear when discussing this with our customers. And I'm going to try and spin those around, change some preconceptions that some have on the subject. And we'll see where we get to. Okay, the first one. DERMS is just another application for your ADMS. So that's a common thought that DERMS should just be part of your ADMS. Similar to how there used to be standalone OMS or FLISR systems. But if I ask you to define what an OMS is, you can easily say that it's an outage management system for your distribution network. If I ask you to define what a FLISR system is, you can easily say that it's a system that helps you locate, isolate and restore faults. But what happens if I ask you to define what a DERMS is? It's a lot harder. You just have to look at any recent publication on DERMS to see that there's a lot of different views and opinions about what a DERMS platform can do. And that's because DERMS is really a whole list of new use cases and functions. Many of those new functions and use cases that are emerging, they haven't had a chance to prove out their value, but they are anticipated. I think it's too early and too simplistic to take a view that DERMS functions are just another part of your ADMS. It's too simplistic to assume that any emerging and new functions that DERMS could or should deliver can be easily delivered from an ADMS starting point. So let's reframe that assumption. DERMS products can excel in areas that ADMS can't. And I'm not suggesting that DERMS replaces ADMS. It's an incredibly valuable tool, but what I am suggesting is that the ADMS foundation is not always the best starting point for your DERMS use cases. There's some good platform and technology reasons for that, and I'm going to pick up on some of those specifics as we go. So the next assumption. It's better to stick with the same supplier for your ADMS and your DERMS. So there's a perception of risk when adopting any new technology solution when there's a promise of some of that required functionality from your existing vendors. I understand as a utility you've already got a supplier relationship in place. You've worked with these suppliers for decades. Surely they do what you need for all of these new DER challenges that you're facing on your network. And it's a big challenge. If it hasn't already started to bite, many utilities across the US are faced with the challenge of lack of visibility, a lack of monitoring and control on their distribution networks. But for many, it's maybe further down the road. It's better to stick what you've got for now. But really, the ADMS vendor, should they be doing everything for you? They've got to draw a line and a boundary on their system somewhere. Today, we're currently helping fill the gaps that ADMS has with some of our existing customers. But what if you could work with a vendor who's focused solely on building out the best DERMS product for you? What if you worked with a DERMS provider who's already solving these challenges in other geographies, who's got experience delivering those solutions with customers, forming those new relationships and being a true delivery partner to help solve emerging distribution challenges? What if you could work with a DERMS provider who knows that platform needs to fit into your existing technology stack and integrate with the systems you have today? What if you could let each vendor focus on what they excel at, avoid having a supplier who's a jack of all trades and a master of none? Okay, on to the third one. My ADMS can already manage assets on the network. It's easy to extend that down to DER. So certainly some partnerships and acquisitions are helping extend behind the meter visibility and control, and our own partnership included with Generac Grid Systems and their Concerto platform. And generally, and I'm using a broad brush statement here, ADMS platforms haven't been built with real-time control at their core. StrataGrid, our DERMS platform, was developed from day one with real-time control and monitoring at its core, and that's the foundation of our software. We've been delivering that software to our customers since 2008, and in the UK, our experience was with active network management, a concept that existed long before DERMS and non-wires alternatives appeared on the scene. So let's reframe that assumption. Pure play DERMS was developed with real-time visibility and control at its core, and this adds to your existing system capabilities. With our StrataGrid product, we use a layered approach to control. So think of having your protection, you've got your DERMS platform, and you've got SCADA at the top there. Now let's think about automation in those different areas. Your protection systems, you trust those to operate as you need. And now think about DER growth in the next decade. Automation is necessary to manage all of those assets on your network. You wouldn't have a manual protection scheme. You need to trust the system to respond quicker based on the data it gets and the logic that you've applied. Our DERMS can see those gradual current or voltage changes on your network. We don't have to overwrite protection. That has its own purpose, but we'll react faster than your SCADA. And as always, there's an option to put an operator in the loop as needed. Last one, DERMS can't work on its own. You need to integrate it to an ADMS anyway. You might as well get it from the same supplier. That's simply not true. DERMS delivers results on its own or as part of a wider ecosystem. If a utility has no ADMS or demand response platform, then the DERMS can still pick up existing or new real-time grid and data across the SCADA and utility telecoms to deliver value. Delivering use cases such as non-wires alternatives, hosting capacity extension, flexible interconnection, voltage management and other grid services. But DERMS can do a lot more when you integrate it into your other systems. We think that this area of DER management and optimization is a systems of systems approach. Give DERMS more access to the data and information that you have and see what it can do for you. Likewise, DERMS can allow a more conventional demand response system, for example, to create more value if you can add the grid context. Give access to your participants to more grid services, add in front of the meter devices and real-time controls. There's a symbiosis between those systems. And many of our implementations with our customers already provide that bridge and that addition to ADMS and demand response. We pride ourselves on being able to start with your challenges where you are today. We can meet you where you're at and your level of complexity and add additional use cases as you need them. We can take network models as an example. Those are very hard to get right. We know lots of our customers are at different stages in their journey to operationalize network models and have a solid way to maintain, manage, update those via their ADMS. To manage it in real time, we could pull in that as operated model, or we could use some rule-based logic and add complexity over time. So running through the 4 things we talked about today, how does standalone DERMS enhance your ADMS? DERMS products excel in areas that ADMS can't. If you can work with a vendor who's solely focused on building the best DERMS product for you, then you get accelerated delivery of those use cases. Our StrataGrid platform, our pure play DERMS, was developed with real-time visibility and control at its core, and that's what it's meant to do. DERMS delivers its own results as part of a standalone system or as part of a wider ecosystem. What I'm hoping you'll take away from today is that DERMS is there to enhance your existing utility systems, and there are advantages to separating out your suppliers. Backing a vendor who can be more focused, flexible and dynamic and meeting those new and emerging needs of DERMS in the next decade and beyond. And at SGS, as a pure play DERMS provider, we can help deliver any gaps in functionality that you have today. And with StrataGrids, we can say confidently that we can deliver DERMS use cases for you today. Thank you very much.